I think one day the human race will look back and identify animal agriculture as worse than human slavery. I do think that will be a profound realization over the next century for our species. And as
wait,
such,
did you say worse than human slavery?
I believe that's what we will realize, because the scale of death caused by animal agriculture.
Okay. Oh, I understand now what you're saying.
The birth to death cycle that these animals live in cages with no ability to touch or interact with their families.
Wow.
The hurt, the pain, it's extraordinary. And part of my work that I do day to day is to figure out ways that we can use science to replace animal agriculture. So the penultimate kind of animal agriculture processor in the US is Tyson Foods. They are the most loathsome company to me. And I stick by my answer.
Can I give you a counterpoint?
Yeah.
But it's delicious.
It's a joke. Don't.
No, here we go.
That's not cool. I mean,
Isn't
that was a spicy take. I mean, to take the
that's a good
human
one.
suffering of slavery and then equate it, but you added their
but
murder.
honestly, Freeberg, like but the thing is, look, you've never eaten any form of animal protein, so how do you know what you're missing?
It's true, but he does know about cruelty.
Yeah, I guess.
I
I'm just
don't
saying,
think there's any winners in this conversation at this point.
Yeah, this is a longer pod. We could do this another time.
fried chicken is really delicious.
Oh, man.
So is a good steak.
Okay, we got to stop. I'm hungry. That was a little controversial take last week. I got DMs from people. That was a spicy take, Freeberg. Did you get any blowback from that spicy take last week? The spiciest of the
I did. I'm actually going to respond to everyone that sent me a note directly.
Was it really? Because people were like, "You're
I think
equating-"
here's the thing. The comment I made that I think really triggered people was I said that animal agriculture is worse than human slavery, and maybe I'll just address it now real quick.
Yeah.
I think the point of view that people took away from that was that I diminished, the pain and the resonance in today's kind of socioeconomic context of human slavery, particularly recently in America. And that wasn't my intention at all.
Clearly not your intention, yeah.
What I'm trying to highlight is, first of all, human slavery has been around as long as humans have been around, right? For 10,000 years, back to ancient Egypt. The enslavement of humans, the removal of opportunity and freedom granted to every living being is certainly manifest in the form of human slavery, and we kind of take it as a very acute pain point. What I was highlighting is every year, over 100 billion land-based animals are killed, and they're born and put in chains and put in jails, and then murdered and eaten by humans as routine. And we don't lift our head up and recognize just how serious and how scaled this behavior is. The industrialization of this process is really abhorrent. And there's videos you can watch, and I think when you watch them, you'll recognize just how painful it is.
Delicious.
Yeah,
I knew it was coming, Chamath. Don't do it, Chamath.
And I do think that Chamath's voice in this is really the voice that's kept this from ever becoming an issue. Because it's not human, we don't kind of pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to highlight that there is something that is at such an extraordinary scale that we don't pay attention to, that one day we'll wake up and we'll be like, oh my God, how did we miss that?
I'm in complete agreement with you, Freeberg. If you look at all life being precious, and you say the life of a cow, the life of a dog, the life of a human, these are all lives. The scale of suffering is
these animals. Yeah, these animals.
I don't
what
weigh them
humans
equally.
experience.
I'll just be honest with you guys.
These animals can problem solve. They can feel emotion. They can
Especially
recognize.
pigs, cows.
They can recognize things happening to them and to their loved ones and their family members. And I think that in the context of that, to cause pain and suffering on those animals and on those creatures at the scale that we do is something that's just mind-blowing to me.
I think that's fair enough.
And I expect that one day we will wake up and be like, I cannot believe we allowed our society to do that. But I do think that we need to solve Chamath's problem, which is how do you make something that's friggin' delicious?
It's not
and how
a
do you make
problem.
it cheaper?
Hold on a second. It's not a problem. Like my perspective is, I understand where you're coming from. I respect your point of view, but here's my point of view, which is we evolved to superiority in an evolutionary process that was not preordained. Okay. And we are now in a position where we are allowed to consume things that we choose. Now, there is also a claim that you could make that, a tiger or a lion should not be attacking and killing a gazelle because that's causing suffering to the gazelle or blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, how we choose to go and consume the things that we need for sustenance is a choice that we can make. And there are probably better choices we can make over time. But at the end of the day, I think that this was a reasonable evolution of humanity and human ingenuity and intellect. And I don't feel guilty about that. I don't weigh the suffering of animals the same way I weigh the suffering of human beings. I don't.
And I would argue that when we were apes in the jungle and we didn't have the choice, I would wholeheartedly agree with you. But today, we are a people that do have the choice.
What choice do we have?
And it's because we have the choice to not eat meat and still survive and still be happy that we can make a better choice.
It doesn't taste good. Like there's a part of my soul. I'll just be very honest with you.
And I agree. And that's why I think we need to solve that problem. And that's why I believe
it's not a problem.
If you made an alternative for you that tasted good and was as affordable as the alternative, which is actually killing an animal, you would choose it. And we haven't given you that solution yet. And when I say we, I mean, call it the techno food people. But there is a tremendous amount of money going into this area. And we will devise artificially produced meat that will not be made by killing an animal, but will be made in a lab that looks and tastes identical.
Or a piece of sushi. Just give us a year.
You'll have a piece of sushi in 3 years. You will have. You will be able to go taste chicken next year. It'll be very, very expensive.
Okay.
But cell-based meat will be available.
And then let's get
at a commercial scale within the next 5 to 10 years.
Our steak. That's really what it's about.
David, my commitment to you is I will do a taste test whenever you say what you call it. You pick the place, the time.
Totally.
I will show up, and if it's better, I will never eat meat again.
Okay, we're not ready. We're not ready for that, and that's a great commitment.
All right.
Yeah.
And I am similar in the commitment.
But in the meantime,
it's not taste. It's distasteful. But I will say, Friedberg, if you're going to have a party and it's only vegan, you need to put that on the invite because I came thinking you were going to feed me.
JKL came to my party. There was no meat. He was really upset. He was going around my party being like, "What the hell is this? There's no meat in this party. What am I doing here?"
Can you make me a hamburger? Yeah. The woman from wherever, like Napa, was like, "I've never touched meat in 30 years."
I made the most incredible ribeye on Christmas Eve. Oh my God.
Ribeye.